Welcome to Being at Home with George. Excited to be here. And let's create the possibility of being able to say yes to whatever comes up, to embrace it, generate the hope, and make wise choices. So today I'd like to talk about my experience of what's been working for me and this idea of understanding that I live into the future that I see. And I believe we all do that. And so I like this idea, not just for myself, but for all of us, because one of my missions is to release the divine spark in each and every human being, or another way of helping each person unlock. And so the future that I'm creating, or I'm interested in creating, is this future where each of us being unlocked. And I wrote a book to that extent called Unlocked: Embrace Your Greatness, Find the Flow, Discover Success. And not only to do that, discover success, but to offer it to the world. So we have something to offer to the world. And each of us has a uniqueness, has something that we can bring that no one else can bring, that never existed before and never will exist again. And the sort of trick is to go inside and to access that and to share it with the rest of us. And that's what I mean by this idea of offering it to the world. And so Erich Fromm talked about the ideal is to get to a place where we're mature, rational, and productive. And when he talks about productive, he's talking about love orientation or production orientation. So you label what you love and you love what you labor for. And when you love something, you make it grow. So we're talking about loving ourselves and loving others, people, places, and things. And this idea of, well, how do you do it? And so I've been reintroduced to M. Scott Peck's idea. And I read his book, The Road Less Traveled, when I first got into recovery. And the thing I liked about the book is he talked about this idea of, when I think about being mature, he talked about being disciplined. And some of the things he talked about is delaying gratification. That's something that I had to do. Yeah, you don't do instant gratification, but you do things and you're looking at the long term, not just today, but what you do today sets up tomorrow. So this idea of delaying gratification. And the other thing is what I preach a lot is we make choices and that we are responsible. So the assumption of responsibility. So I'm not only responsible for myself, but I'm responsible for the choices I make, and understanding when I make a choice, it's affecting others, and I have to take responsibility for that. So I don't do the blame and the denial. If I'm blaming or if I'm denying, I'm not taking responsibility. Be responsible, no excuses. That's it. For at least my reaction or response to things. And this idea of commitment to the truth. Know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. And so for me, it's really obvious. When I had chronic pain or substance abuse, I had to accept it. I had to say, yes, I am responsible, know the truth. And once I knew the truth, then I could do something about it. And we talk about it in terms of the 4 A's: the awareness and embracing, saying yes to everything. And then accepting, yes, I don't like this, or yes, I'm making a choice and it requires that I have to go through pain. But that's being a mature adult, going through the pain, doing what needs to be done in spite of it. Because as Scott Peck said, life is difficult. But if I accept the fact that it's difficult, then it ceases to be difficult because I've embraced it, I've accepted it, and then I can do the compassionate action in spite of it, not because of it, or if it wasn't there, I couldn't do it. No, it doesn't matter. Once I embrace it, there's not a problem. So this idea of taking responsibility, delaying gratification, and accepting the truth, knowing the truth. And if I don't know the truth, if I don't accept where true north is, then I can say whatever I want. But at some point, I'm going to be lost and I won't be able to find myself because I don't know which way true north is. If I know what way true north is, when I get off track, I know I can get back on. I don't have to beat myself up, judge it, just change, reset, reboot, renew, get back on track. And so this idea of being a mature adult has to do with assuming responsibility, understanding that I have an impact on not just myself, but everyone else. And so when I make choices and I make like voting, or when I make a decision, I have to be wholehearted about it. I have to feel the difficulty, the pain, the suffering that goes with it, but then getting to a place where I can make a choice, even though it's a challenging choice, but I know it's a choice that's based on me having suffering through it. And sometimes when we don't delay gratification, I may make a quick, easy choice instead of considering the consequences of the choice. And that's what a mature person does. So if you play the game and you lose, you accept the loss, and then you figure out how to come back and play again with the intention of winning. But if you say you didn't lose, or if you deny reality, then you can't be rational. then you have to rationalize it and be irrational, and then you do the blame and the denial and stuff. So the idea for all of us is to be productive, rational, which means we are able to embrace the truth. And like we talk about the 4 A's, the acceptance, the awareness, and the compassionate action. And then what's the lesson? And keep it moving. And so that's the idea. But in the process of doing that, I feel like my own experiences, you have to go through unpleasantness. You got to get comfortable being uncomfortable. And you have to get to this place where we talk about this idea of seeing things as they are, embracing things. There has to be this ability to set self aside, or to realize that anytime we go into a situation where we're observing people, places, and things, that there's a bias that we bring into it. There's our history, there's our culture, our identity, and we have to be able to set self aside so we can see things as they are without interpreting what it is, or without letting our fear or desire impact what we're seeing. And so I just thought it was good for me to talk about this is the future I want to create, where I'm a mature, productive, rational person. And my job is to begin with myself, but not to end with myself, to know that I'm in a network of relationships and what I do has impact on others. And so when I make choices, I need to consider that instead of doing the instant gratification and getting the thing now and not being willing to understand the consequences. And then when the consequences do come, they come with interest.